Hey everyone, and welcome back to Tell Me More Stories Told His podcast for another deep dive. Today we're taking a look at an actor you might think you know. That's right, we're going deep on Ryan Gosling.
This is gonna be fun.
He's known as this Hollywood heartthrob, but his story is anything but a straight line to the top.
Yeah, his career has had so many twists and turns.
And you really have to wonder if he planned it this way or just followed his instincts.
I'd say it's a mix of both.
Let's start at the very beginning.
Okay.
We've all heard the story about the steak knives in first grade, right?
Oh, yeah, how could you forget that one?
I mean, a 6-year-old bringing steak knives to school and throwing them at other kids.
He said he was inspired by the movie First Blood.
That's not your typical childhood mischief.
It really makes you think.
Was this like an early sign of his rebellious side?
Maybe it was his way of expressing his emotions before he really had the words.
Especially when you consider that he struggled with reading and might have had ADHD.
Right. Those kinds of challenges can sometimes go hand in hand with being creative.
It's like he was already searching for ways to channel all that energy and intensity.
And I think that's a key part of understanding Gosling.
That need for an outlet.
Yeah, the drive to take those big emotions and turn them into something.
And for him, that outlet was
I get this.
The Mickey Mouse Club.
How ironic is that?
Can you picture him singing and dancing next to Britney Spears and Justin Timberlake?
Talk about an unexpected path.
It's kind of mind-blowing.
Seriously.
You have this kid who was acting out in pretty dramatic ways just a few years earlier, and then suddenly he's in the squeaky clean world of Disney.
It doesn't seem like he really fit in.
Well, yeah, all those early experiences as an outsider, it probably made it tough to just be another Mouseketeer.
Yeah, like trying to fit into that cookie-cutter image.
So even surrounded by all that manufactured happiness, the outsider theme keeps popping up.
And you definitely see that in his acting roles later on.
Like he's always drawn to characters who are different.
Yeah, a bit off-center.
Grappling with something.
And, you know, he could have easily gone the typical teen idol route. He had the looks for it. But instead, he chooses to do The Believer.
A movie where he plays a Jewish neo-Nazi.
That was a huge risk.
But it paid off big time.
The critics loved his performance.
He proved that he wasn't afraid to play challenging roles.
Even disturbing ones.
And it really solidified his reputation as a serious actor.
What's crazy is that The Believer wasn't just some edgy indie film. It won the Grand Jury Prize at Sundance.
Which is a huge deal.
It gave him credibility.
Yeah, it showed Hollywood that he was here to stay.
And that he wasn't going to be pigeonholed. It's so fascinating how Gosling just keeps pushing boundaries, challenging himself and the audience with the roles he chooses.
He's not afraid to make us uncomfortable.
It makes you think, was that drive always there simmering beneath the surface?
I think it was.
You see glimpses of it in his childhood, in his Mickey Mouse Club days. And then boom, it just explodes onto the scene with The Believer.
It's like he was just waiting for the right moment to unleash all that talent.
And that intensity. Now, before we go any further, I just have to say, if you're enjoying this deep dive, make sure you hit that subscribe button. You do not want to miss the rest of this story. Trust me, it gets even more interesting.
We'll be back after a quick break to talk about Gosling's rise to romantic leading man status.
But with a twist, of course.
Because even when he's playing the heartthrob...
Yeah, it brings a complexity and depth to it.
Yeah, it's never just surface level with him.
Stay tuned.
Okay, so we're back. And we were talking about how Ryan Gosling seems to avoid being typecast.
Yeah, he really does.
And there's no better example of that than what happened with The Lovely Bones.
Oh, well, yeah. This is where things get interesting.
So he was supposed to play the grieving father in this really emotional drama.
He even gained weight for the role.
But then, right before filming...
Like days before.
Gets fired.
Can you believe that?
And it wasn't about his acting.
No.
It was because they had different ideas about the character.
It's like a clash of creative visions.
Exactly. Gosling had a really specific idea of who this character was and how he should be played.
And it just didn't match what the director wanted.
It's pretty amazing that he was willing to walk away from a big film like that.
Especially after all the work he'd already put in.
It takes guts to do something like that.
He really shows you how much he cares about his craft.
He's not just going to go through the motions for a paycheck.
He's an artist.
Yeah, he has a vision.
And then you look at what he did in 2011.
Oh, man, that was a big year for him.
Talk about range.
3 totally different films.
Drive, Crazy Stupid Love, and The Ides of March.
It was like he was showing everyone what he was capable of.
Like, don't try to put me in a box.
Exactly.
He can do it all.
And he did it brilliantly.
But there's more to Ryan Gosling than just acting.
Oh, yeah, this guy's got so much creative energy.
Like his band.
dead man's bones.
Not exactly your typical pop music.
It's kind of dark and gothic.
Even a little theatrical.
It's not what you'd expect from a Hollywood star.
But that's Ryan Gosling for you?
He follows his own path.
He doesn't care about fitting into some mold.
He just does what feels right to him.
And then there's the whole Moroccan restaurant thing.
You gotta love that.
A Moroccan restaurant.
Who would have guessed?
It's so unexpected.
But it shows that he's not afraid to try new things.
To step outside his comfort zone.
It's like he has this endless well of creativity.
That he needs to express in different ways.
He's not just an actor. He's a musician, a restaurateur.
And you know what else?
What's up?
He's an activist, too.
Oh, yeah. He's been involved in a lot of different causes over the years.
Animal welfare, promoting peace in conflict zones.
He's even traveled to places like Darfur and Chad to see firsthand what's happening.
That's not just showing up for a photo op.
No, he's really putting himself out there.
It shows how committed he is.
He's using his platform to give a voice to people who need it.
And he does it in a way that feels genuine.
Yeah, like he really cares.
So we had this multi-talented guy who defies any kind of label, who's always looking for new ways to express himself and make a difference in the world.
It's inspiring.
It really is.
Ryan Gosling's story shows us that we don't have to limit ourselves.
We can explore different things, embrace all our different sides, and use our talents to do good in the world.
Exactly.
In the next part of our deep dive, we'll explore how Gosling continues to defy expectations, taking on roles that showcase his incredible versatility. Stick around.
You won't want to miss it.
So we've talked about a lot,
We have.
from those steak knives in first grade, to blockbuster movies, to running a Moroccan restaurant.
What can't this guy do?
Seriously.
It's pretty incredible how much he does.
And through it all, there's this sense of him being genuine
Yeah, he seems like he really wants to create.
and explore and use his platform to do good. You know, it's refreshing to see a celebrity who's not just playing the Hollywood game.
He doesn't seem to be chasing fame for fame's sake,
He picks projects that mean something to him.
even if they're risky or different.
And that's what makes him so interesting. He keeps us guessing. We never know what he's going to do next.
But we know it'll be worth watching.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I got to ask, what's next for Ryan Gosling?
Well, if his past is anything to go by, it could be anything.
Literally anything.
He could direct another movie, write a screenplay.
Maybe even release a solo album.
He's definitely not afraid to try new things.
Or maybe another restaurant. This time, Canadian-Moroccan fusion.
No, that's an idea.
You know what? I could even see him running for office someday.
With his passion for social justice and his ability to connect with people,
He could really make a difference.
the possibilities are endless.
They really are.
But no matter what he does, we know he'll do it with passion
And integrity.
and that unique Ryan Gosling style.
He's a great example of how we don't have to be just one thing. We can have lots of different passions, explore different sides of ourselves, and create a life that's both meaningful and fulfilling.
So as we say goodbye, we want you to think about this. What unconventional paths are calling to you? What dreams have you been putting off? What would it take for you to embrace all the different sides of yourself?
And create a life that's truly your own. That's all for this episode of Tell Me More Stories Told as Podcast. Thanks for joining us on this journey into the world of Ryan Gosling,
We hope you learned something new
and maybe even got a little inspired.
to embrace your own unique path.
Until next time,
Keep exploring
keep questioning.
and keep telling your own story.